Hello. Do you feel like Instagram takes up too much time? Well, here are 3 ways to spend less time creating Instagram content, ranked in the order that I think you should pursue them. So, welcome to episode 17 of the Jessica Goodenough Podcast. I'm Jessica Goodenough and I help purpose-driven coaches and service providers to find and convert more of their ideal clients with Instagram. I'm also a social media manager for busy vegan business owners. On this podcast, I chat all about mindset, marketing, and plant-based positivity. So let's dive right in. So before I start, I wanted to give a very quick personal update. I'm very happy today because I went for a run, and it's been ages. It's been probably almost a year. Which seems crazy now. But as you may know, I had a baby a bit more than 3 months ago, and it's not recommended to run immediately after having a baby because your organs are trying to figure out what they're supposed to do. Anyway, and I also broke my toe a bit more than 6 weeks ago. So it takes about 6 weeks to heal the broken toe. And I'm back on track now. So really happy. Doing couch to 5K. I'm starting slow, but super happy to be able to go out for a quick run. Well, a short run, let's say. I listened to a podcast. I listened to Pat Flynn's 500th episode of Smart Passive Income. So I'll link that in the show notes. If you're watching on YouTube, I'll link it in the description. Because it's a pretty impressive feat, recording 500 podcast episodes. I got a bit emotional listening to it. Anyway, it's quite inspiring. Moving on to what we're actually talking about today. We're talking about how to spend less time creating Instagram content. And this is, there's an Instagram post that actually goes with it. It's a carousel. And what's quite funny is when I looked it up, because I posted it recently, I looked it up and I actually cropped it badly. So you can't auto post a carousel to Instagram. You can create it all in a tool like Planoly, which I'll get to in a minute. But you still have to kind of click through and post it. And as you may or may not know, when you post to Instagram, you can either post things as a square, which is how it appears on your grid, or the slightly bigger version that you created, which is what I should have done, but I just did it quickly and uploaded it as a square. Probably it was dinner time and there were 2 small children and my partner, and we're all like, let's get everything ready. So it actually crops a tiny bit at the bottom and the top. But this is all about not being a perfectionist, so I'm still going to link it in the show notes. And so if you're listening to this as a podcast, then the show notes are at jessicagoodenough.com/episode 17, the number 17. And if you're watching on YouTube, everything will be linked down below. So I'll link to that podcast. This is the podcast. I'll link to that Instagram post in the show notes or in the description, so you can just have a visual recce of what I'm talking about. So we're talking about 3 ways to spend less time creating Instagram content. As a quick intro that's still ongoing, I'm going to quickly start things off with things that can be batched and things that can't be scheduled automatically on Instagram as of today. I'm recording this on a Wednesday, on the 18th of August. Instagram changes things up. So it could be that next month you can auto-schedule some of these things. But currently this is how it is. So things that can be batched and created in advance of just posting it are things like photos. Obviously, you can take photos all the time and you can edit them and you can schedule them. Quote posts. So that could be like, you know what I mean by quote post. It doesn't have to be a quote, but like some kind of graphic creation that isn't a pure photo. And carousel. So they're the ones that you scroll through the several images. You can also film stories in advance, film reels in advance, and film IGTVs. So that's Instagram's video format, one of their video formats, in advance. I'll get back to that in a sec. But I wanted you to know the important thing for you to do if you're listening to this or watching this on YouTube is that I've created a freebie. Well, I'm in the process of creating a freebie, is the transparency, but I'll have created it by the time you listen to this, a freebie to help you save time creating Instagram content with 4 free apps, and they will help you with what I'm talking about in this episode. So make sure you download that by going to the show notes, jessicagoodenough.com/episode 17, or looking at the description below, and that's just a free guide with 4 free apps that will help you save a ton of time. Right, so the things that can't be scheduled as of now, 18th of August, are posting reels or stories. So you can film everything in advance, you could save it all, but you can't schedule things to be posted. And this is a bit corny, but human connection. So it is a social media platform, which the word social is quite important. Also, one of my pet peeves, it's not on social. That doesn't mean anything. It's social media. But anyway, moving on. Yes, the Instagram app, like many other social media platforms, reward you for also engaging on the platform. So you can't, quote unquote, post and ghost, just like schedule lots of content out for the month and then do absolutely nothing. You could either engage yourself, so make sure you're commenting on other things, reaching out to people, having conversations in the DMs, or you could hire a very capable person like me to do that for you. But you do need to engage with people. And that is all part of my Shine Online strategy, which is what I teach in my one-on-one workshops that are like 90-minute calls on Zoom, or that I apply with social media management clients. If you want to know more about the Shine Online thing, or about social media management, if you're very busy and you need someone else to do it, do book a discovery call. The link to book a discovery call, I don't know the exact link off the top of my head, so I will link it in the show notes, which for the millionth time is just at jessicagoodenough.com/episode 17, or in the description down below. But yes, book a discovery call if you need help with that kind of thing. But anyway, the point is that you can create a lot of content in advance, but you still need to engage with people. It's a social media platform. It's a nice thing to do. There's human beings on the social media platform who probably want to talk to you, but also the algorithm of Instagram will reward you if you're active, because what they want is people spending time on the platform. That's how they make their money. Right, so after that long intro, the 3 ways to spend less time creating Instagram content are: number 1, having a clear strategy. So this is a bit strange. How does that make you save time? You save time by posting more strategically. So gone are the days where more was more. Like there was this with Pinterest and many other platforms where the more you posted, the more success you had. It was like just quantity, just keep chucking stuff out there. And I feel like that's kind of Gary Vee's approach. I'm not very familiar with it. But I don't think you need to be posting several times a day or going mad, creating lots of content and running around like a headless chicken. There's no point posting content if that content doesn't have a point. Like if there's not a strategy behind it, posting pretty pictures to post pretty pictures is useless. Posting inspirational quotes to post inspirational quotes is useless unless it makes sense in your kind of business goals, with your business goals. So what I want you to think about is how Instagram fits into your sales funnel, into your customer journey, whichever way you want to look at it, and how your post warm leads up. So how they go from being cold, not knowing about you at all, to warm, kind of considering buying from you, to hot, ready to click buy, send you a DM, whatever your funnel is. And this is exactly what I teach in my strategy sessions. But if you're not ready to do one of these strategy sessions, have a think for yourself how these posts fit into that funnel. And that doesn't mean that everything has to be really kind of cold and strategic. You can still have posts that are about you and your dog, you and your plants, you and your kids, or whatever, that kind of create that trust and connection with people. But you have to have a think about how it all fits in an overall picture. So in my method that I'm calling Shine Online for now, that involves 4 to 8 posts a week. And when I say 4 to 8 posts, that means everything. So that's both photo posts, what I call quote posts, but they're not all quotes. They could be like a sales graphic or whatever. Carousels, IG lives and IGTVs, reels, all of that. So all of that, except for stories, I'd only say that you need to post 4 to 8 times a week. It is worth looking at what your competition is doing, but I'd say 4 to 8 times is the best, and 4 is the minimum viable. I've got like a method of how to, so in my Shine Online method, there's the core 4 posts that you want to share every week, and then the extra 2 or 4, so bringing you to 6 or 8, are more optional depending on what your objectives are with Instagram. But if it's only getting clients and finding more of your ideal clients and converting them to paying clients, finding prospects and converting them to paying clients, then you only need 4 posts a week, which is quite doable. Essentially save time by having a clear strategy. Stop just creating content, feeling guilty that you haven't posted this week, etc. Just think about what the strategy is. If you want a strategy that you can plug and play, then do book a discovery call. As I said, that's in the show notes, how to do that. And I'd be very glad to teach you my method. But if you don't want to go with my method, Google it. There isn't actually any very good methods I've found online for Instagram, which is why I created my own. But they explain like week by week what to do. But yes, you want a core set of posts that you post regularly, and also by having this core set of posts, so there's each of these 4 posts, they have a format and a goal. And if you keep posting these 4 things every week, then eventually it gets easier and easier and faster to create them. And as I get to point number 2, you also have templates that you reuse. So it does take you a tiny bit of time to set up, but once you've set it up, you can kind of roll content out quite quickly. You can also batch it. And it makes sense. You're not just spending time on Instagram and you've spent, I don't know, several hours creating Instagram content, and then it brings you no clients and you're like, well, that was cool. I do have a friend, Virginia, though. Hi, Virginia, if you're listening, who... she's a she works with visual identity. I've learned that branding isn't necessarily the right word, but anyway, and she likes to use Instagram for kind of more of behind the scenes personal stuff, which is totally fine. This is what I'm talking about, is if you want to use Instagram as a way of being found by more of your ideal clients, also finding more of your ideal clients, and then turning them into customers or turning them into clients. If you want to use it for something else, I can't help you if you want to be an influencer. I'm not an influencer. I don't know how to do that. But if your objective is to get more clients, this is what I recommend doing. If you want to use Instagram as a way of connecting with your friends and family, by all means do that. But if you want to spend less time creating Instagram content, one of the best ways to do that is to start with a strategy, because you can cut off lots of time by doing other things that I mentioned in the freebie that's linked in the description and the show notes, or by using the other steps that I'm going to talk about in a second. But if you don't have a strategy, you're just creating content to create content. So you might as well be watching Netflix, which is fine as well. But anyway, right. So have a clean strategy is point number 1. If you need help with that, book a discovery call. We can chat for 15 minutes. It's no obligation. If you feel like I can help you, then that's brilliant. And if you don't, well, I might have helped you during those 15 minutes. Who knows? Number 2 is using Canva templates. Now, if you don't use Canva, you need to use Canva. It's amazing. It's a free tool. What I'd recommend, there is an app on the phone. I find it a bit fiddly using it on the phone. I guess you could do, here's a strategy that I hadn't really thought through when I was writing my notes. However, what I'd recommend is you start on your computer. I was going to say on your PC, but some people have MacBooks and whatnot. But anyway, start on your computer. Choose Canva's a free tool. I think I said that. It does have a paid option. I actually have the paid option, but you can do loads of stuff with the free option. So what I'd recommend is you find a few templates for the main things you need on Instagram. So say one of the things you do is you share quotes, or you share announcements that you're going to go live, or you share carousels that have helpful information for your ideal client. Hint, hint. But anyway, you share those kind of things. What I want you to do is search in Canva, and Canva's got quite good searchability. Is that the word? Anyway, and find templates for those posts. So if you want, maybe if you share a lot of quotes, you might want a couple different templates to mix things up. I personally am on the sharing 8 times a week model. Those I might mention later on. I am going to take a break, just a summer break. So there might be a bit less content during that time, but normally I'd aim to post 8 times a week. And so because of how the grid repeats, I don't mind using the same templates. But if you're sharing, say, a lot of quotes, you might want a couple quote templates. Anyway, search on Canva for what you're looking for. So if you search Instagram carousel or carousel Instagram, I can't remember, on Canva, it will give you lots of different templates that people have already made. They're either graphic designers or aspiring graphic designers. They're probably better than you and me at making beautiful things on Canva. And so just use those. Make your life easy for yourself. Use things that people have already used. Think about who your ideal client is, what would appeal to them. Try to look at Canva with those eyes, and then once you find a template that you like, this is quite important, you want to adapt it to your brand. So maybe, I'm not a branding expert or a visual identity expert, but if you want something like quite basic beginner level branding, which is what I have, I've never paid anyone to help me with branding. You want to choose a few colors and I'd say up to 3 fonts and maybe up to 5 colors. What I've done is I'm going to use the wrong words now, maybe hues, nuances in any case of the same color. So I've got like darker versions and lighter version of the exact same color that I also use if I want to create just a bit of contrast, but not too much contrast, if that makes sense. But, oh goodness, I'm getting the dizziness again. I've mentioned this before. If I start making no sense, it's because I'm getting dizzy. I have taken my medicine, but anyway. Yes, so on Canva, you want to save a few of your... actually, on the free version, you can't, I don't think, have the brand kit, which is what I'm talking about. You can't save the fonts and the colors. What you can do, though, is choose a few of your templates, choose a few fonts that you like, and I'd say 3 fonts and maybe 5 colors, and adapt the templates to those colors. So with the colors, for example, if you find color, you can Google, well, I'm not going to get into the whole branding thing, but in any case, adapt the templates to look the way that you want to look them, and then just reuse them. You can either create a copy or you can just overwrite them. And then even if you don't have the pro version, you can still have this brand identity going through your posts, and without paying for the paid version is essentially what I mean. So just keep reusing those templates. Don't, every time you need to create an Instagram post, go look for new templates, because first of all, they'll look all a bit mishmashed on your feed, but also that's going to take you a lot more time. So you could create all of this on your computer, is where I was going from earlier on. Create all of this on your computer, and then on your phone, when say you want to create something a bit quickly, you open the Canva app and you just edit the text. So if you've got a quote thing, you could just change it from seize the day. Don't do that. But anyway, seize the day to something else. I was trying to think of another cheesy quote and I can't think of it. But anyway, you can just quickly change that on your phone, and everything else will stay the same. And then you can either publish it straight to Instagram or schedule it. I'm doing some very good, what do you call them? Liaison in French. Any transitions from each point. So point number 1 was to have a clear strategy. Number 2 was the Canva templates, and I'm going to get to scheduling in number 3. But regarding the Canva templates, Canva is one of the 4 apps, spoiler alert, in the freebie that I mentioned. And again, that freebie is how to save time creating Instagram content with 4 free apps. And you can find it at jessicagoodenough.com/episode 17. And in the description below on not on Instagram, on YouTube. So number 3, third way to save time. Number 1 was to have a clear strategy. Number 2 was using Canva templates. Number 3 is to schedule posts ahead of time. So there's several apps to do this. There's Later and and other ones, but I can't think of any of them later. And I use Planoly. So Planoly is good. You can, a spoiler alert, it's also one of the 4 apps. So now you just need to figure out what the other 2 are. If you sign up for that freebie. Planoly is an app that allows you to plan out your Instagram and also your Pinterest. If you're not interested in Pinterest, it's fine. Just use it for Instagram. And there is a free version. I currently have a paid version, but you can use the free version and it's very good. I'll link both to Canva and to Planoly in the description on the show notes. It's a referral thing, by the way. If you sign up for Planoly, I do use it though. I'm not referring you to something I don't use. I've been using it for probably at least a year now, maybe. I get a little kickback, so I'd very much appreciate you to use my referral code. But if you don't, that's fine. Planoly is a app that you can use for free to schedule your Instagram posts. Now, as I mentioned much earlier on, you can't schedule everything. So currently you can't schedule Reels and you obviously can't schedule IG Lives because you're live. But you can schedule posts, you can schedule carousels. Some of them you might, and this is not just Planoly, this is just because of what Instagram allows and doesn't allow. Some of them you might be able to create everything, and then at the moment you need to publish, you'll need to click through a few things and publish it. Some of them you can just schedule them and forget them. So this might be useful actually if you want to post more often, but you don't want to be on the app, say on the weekend. You could schedule those posts that just go out automatically on the weekend. So you can post normal quote posts, you can schedule normal photo posts, and I think even videos. Though I don't really use IGTV on its own. I turn my lives into videos and then I do Reels, but I don't really do videos. But I think you can schedule videos as well. And that is super helpful. And so to give you a quick walkthrough of Planoly, this isn't, even if you're watching on YouTube, I won't show you in the app. I might do that at some point when I improve my video editing skills. And by improve, I mean start having video editing skills. Anyway, Planoly, you would create the content some other way. So you'd take a picture or you'd create something in Canva and then you upload it to Planoly. And from there, you'd write your caption, you'd decide what time you want to schedule it at, you'd tag people. With the free version, you can put hashtags in the caption. With the paid version that I have, you can put it in as the first comment. And as I mentioned a while ago, I think I mentioned it 2 weeks ago, it's better for your reach to put it in the caption, so that reaches more people, but it's better for your engagement to put it in the comments. So you're more likely to get more comments if you put it in the first comment. And which of those you choose goes back to if you're following a deep or a wide Instagram strategy, which is what I discussed in episode 15 of this podcast, which I'll link to in the show notes if you want to watch or listen to that. In any case, it allows you to do that. You can crop the photo. I think you can do some edits, but I wouldn't recommend necessarily editing your photo in there, but I often forget that I have to crop it at a certain ratio to auto post to Instagram, but the app will prompt you to do that. You can also post to your Facebook page and to Twitter from it, but it'll just be that post. That's not ideal, but I just do it because I'm not really doing much on Facebook and Twitter, so I thought that's better than nothing. And what else? If you do have the free version, you're allowed, I think, up to 30 uploads a month. And I thought that was you can upload 30 times to Instagram. No, it means you can upload 30 times to Planoly. So don't just dump all of your photos on Planoly and then it blocks you. Be a bit mindful about what you upload, but that should be plenty if you're... So I recommend posting 4 to 8 times a week. If you're posting 4 times a week, 4 times 4 is 16. Good job, Jessica. That's way under 30. 4 times 8 is 24. But anyway, moving on from that, if you're posting 8 times a week, you might want to upgrade. Saying that, with Instagram Lives and Reels, you might be okay. Anyway, you'll have more than enough on the free plan to get you started. So I'll link to Planoly in the show notes or in the description below if you're watching on YouTube. And I'd say that saves a lot of time. It means that you could create all of your carousels and quotes and whatnot. Either you could do like one day a month where you create all of that. And if you did follow my strategy, you'd actually know what all of that is in advance. You wouldn't be kind of winging it, being like, oh, what am I going to talk about today? It'd be quite obvious. You'd have a plan. It's in a spreadsheet. You'd have a plan and you'd know what all these posts are about. So you could just quote unquote bash them out in a day. I've yet to find, because I have 2 little boys and my partner, I'm very grateful for, looks after them quite regularly, and my in-laws look after them quite regularly, but I don't currently have like a full day that I can do a month's worth. That would be good. A full month's worth of Instagram content. You can also do a couple hours, say on a Monday afternoon or whatever, and create your posts. And if you have the templates, it just gets faster and faster creating that content. So that's how you use Planoly. Then you schedule it out rather than having to post in the moment every day. So that means every day, say you're posting every work day, every weekday, you still have to find a slot of time to do it. And what happens when you do that is you often don't post. And people often say that they want consistent clients. One of the way to get consistent clients is to show up consistently. Anyway, so those are the 3 main ways. I've kept it kind of short today. I'm quite proud of myself. 3 main ways of, 3 ways of saving time creating content on Instagram. Number 1, have a clear strategy. If you're not sure how to do that, do please book a discovery call, a free discovery call, 15 minutes. At this point, as I said, I'm taking a week off, so it'll be in September. I'd love to help you with your Instagram strategy. Or if you're overwhelmed with DMs and things, with your engagement, or if you don't know how to create content, with your content. Anyway, but if you want a clear strategy, book your discovery call. Then number 2 and number 3 are creating your Canva templates and scheduling your posts in advance. And for that, and for the other 2 apps that are secret, make sure you get my freebie, which is how to save time creating Instagram content using 4 free apps. Anyway, as I mentioned, I will be taking about 10 days off. I'll be back in September, I believe the 2nd. But that's not when this podcast will be back, because I record it normally on a Monday. I'm being very naughty and recording it on a Wednesday, but normally I record it on a Monday. So it'll be the 2nd Monday. Let me just check my calendar while I've got it here. Dun, 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 dun. The 1st Monday in September, the 6th of September, is when you can expect the next podcast episode. So to make sure you get that, please do subscribe. If you're on YouTube, subscribe and hit the notification bell. If you're on your podcast player, subscribe there. If you listen to this directly on my website, then go to wherever you listen to podcasts and subscribe there. I'm on most of them. If you manage to find a podcast platform that I'm not on, I'll be really impressed, because with Buzzsprout, which I'll link to in the show notes if you want to create your podcast, and also to my blog post about how to create a podcast, complete tangent. But anyway, Buzzsprout is really great. It sends my podcast out to Apple Podcasts, to Spotify, to Google Podcasts, and I don't have to do anything. It's amazing. Anyway, other than record it, upload it, and write the show notes. But other than that, I don't have to do anything. But if you were interested in Buzzsprout, I will link to them. They're quite cool. And to my podcast, to my blog post about how to create a podcast. Anyway, subscribe, number 1. Number 2, my friend Lindsay inspired me to create a journaling prompt that goes with each episode. This doesn't necessarily really go with the episode, but the journaling prompt is, what can you do to make this week more summery? And this is because if you're in England like me, it's quite grey and it's a bit depressing. And I'm going to take a week off next week, and I kind of want to make it like a summer holiday, even though the weather is not really complying with that. So I think I need to write the answer to this prompt, but it might be worth you as well spending 5 minutes with pen and paper, just thinking, brainstorming about what you can do to make this week more summery. Is summery a word? I don't know. Because we're soon going to be in autumn, days are getting shorter. Let's enjoy. Having a business is also about having the flexibility to enjoy things. So you could work outside, you could do whatever. And I don't want to plant ideas in your mind. You do whatever you think you want to do. But do tell me, I haven't mentioned, I'm on Instagram at JL Goodenough. If this podcast brings anything up for you, whatever, send me a DM. I love chatting with people who listen to the podcast. It's really cool, actually. I get people that message me and I'm like, how weird. The idea, I've recently passed the 500 downloads mark and I've only got 17 episodes. And I know some people have like millions of downloads, but to me that's really exciting. 500 different times people have downloaded my episode. Madness. Anyway, so if you listen to the podcast, either screenshot the thing. I've given you loads of things to do now. Anyway, sorry. Screenshot this podcast whatever, you know what I mean. Screenshot it, share it, tag me, or send me a message telling me what your take home. I'm gonna stop talking. Anyway, so that was your tell me about how you're going to make your time more summary by messaging me on Instagram at JLGoodenough, which is also linked in the show notes and the video description. And my call to action, as I've mentioned a million times, so subscribe, do the journaling prompt, and make sure you get the free guide to saving time creating content on Instagram with 4 free apps, which is in the show notes at jessicagoodenough.com/episode 17 and in the description of this YouTube video as well. Right, I'm going to stop talking now because I'm making less and less sense. I hope you have a lovely rest of your week, a lovely day, and I'll see you soon. I'll see you in September, but reach out beforehand. I will be getting back to messages